There are things in this world that I do not understand. Now I know what you're thinking. How could I not understand everything? Being omnipotent comes with a lot of responsibility. I get asked all of these questions, and the majority of them revolve around the whys and the hows I allow things to take place. And I'm not sure I understand. And if I don't understand, I can understand perfectly how many of you couldn't understand. Life is funny like that sometimes. Being a creator is very different from being a dictator. The human as a being has been blessed with the gift of free will, or cursed, depending on what your perspective is like, but you have the power to choose how you live your life. You're welcome. What free will does is force a certain level of personal responsibility and personal accountability as to the type of person that you choose to become. The human being as a species is like a global community. The downside to free will is that sometimes you're left having to be responsible, accountable, and ultimately suffer through the actions of others. It sucks, man, I know, but in the same instance it can be beautiful, it can be defining, it can be a means to elevate yourself and give you an option to choose how you don't want to live your own life. That's free will. Your mother may try to tell you that there are no bad people on Earth. She may make excuses for their circumstances or their environment, or even their genetic implantation. She could try to tell you that every person has some good in them. But that's up to you to decide. I would further this point by asking your mother to explain how every synapse in the brain works and why you, as a species, have yet to be able to understand how that genetic marvel works in every aspect of its functioning. Then I would tell you to tell your mother not to tell me how to do my job. I don't make the decision as to whether people are good or not. You have been given the framework to be amazing. What you as a species choose to do with it is based on your own decisions. So stop asking me why. You have free will, that's why. As a global community, you are each responsible for each other and must decide how you're going to endure one another. I prefer the method of endearment, but it's possible that in every life, environment, or circumstance there will be a snake in the garden. You choose how you deal with that creature. Personally, I don't like them. Slithering about, smelling with tongues, and just being overall naturally gross and threatening. Snakes remind me of monsters, and the only good monster is the one that's not around me. That's a decision I made. You see how I did that? Free will, man. Free will. I gave you a foundation. You decide. Happiness is a choice. Hurting isn't. Buddhists say life is suffering? Yeah, in a way. But that's part of its beauty. I don't want to get all Chinese on you, but there's a yin and a yang and it's based on balance. In order to be happy, you have to find a way to live somewhere in the middle. Take the good with the bad and make the best decisions that you can with it. Life, in general, is kind of torturously funny. I don't understand some of the things that you guys do or what you put up with, but as the definitive scientist, I do like to observe. I can't explain everything, but I do like to think that everything has the potential to happen for a reason. Understanding that reason? That's up to you, man. You decide. There are things in this world that I may never understand. I can accept them for what they are, and so should you. The good thing about being what and who you are is that you've been given the ability to choose how you deal with them. I can't make that decision for you. Only you can. You determine how much you will tolerate and how long you will allow something to make you miserable. Happiness is a state of mind that you have the ability to influence. If you surround yourself with negative influences, they will have a negative influence on your life. If you find yourself being tormented by miserable creatures, it is up to you to decide how much you are going to tolerate. Miserable creatures are like succubi. Once they can no longer control and feed off your emotions, they will move on to something or someone else that fuels their insecurities. You have the power to decide to let them completely drain the happiness from your life, or refuse to let them have any power over you whatsoever. Your life is what you make of it. You may not be able to control who or what you encounter throughout it, but you do have the choice to determine how you deal with the intolerable things that you are going to encounter. You have choices. Each person is able to decide for themselves what choices they make. Giving power over you to allow yourself to be abused is a poor use of your given talents. You, sir, are the only one responsible for your decisions and actions. You are responsible and accountable for your state of being. That's free will, dude. And you're welcome. Use it wisely.